Hey guys, what's going on? It's your favorite proto clanker, and today I wanted to kind of talk about something which I don't think uh gets talked about all that much in the disabled community, and that's housework. Uh, for a lot of us, um housework is often very difficult or impossible. In my case, because I'm in a chair, I mean, I can do some stuff like on my own chair, like wipe my tray table down and stuff like that, or like lightly clean stuff with wipes, but that's pretty much it, man. Um and just what type of implications that has for family life. I know we don't often talk about that because most of us really don't get to have families of any sort. Like, we don't get married usually. We kind of just live with our parents and have no kids and stuff like that. But, like, I do still think it's important to talk about. And one of the things that has always concerned me as someone that you know really actually does care about equality among genders, and especially within a relationship. um the saying, it should be 50-50. I mean, I kind of agree with that, but I don't think, like, especially when you're talking about disability, sometimes one of you is gonna have to be doing maybe 70 and the other 30. um or any different combination of percentages within that metaphor, right? It's the sort when it becomes a sort of sustained thing where it's then it comes into question, right? Because it's easy to then get resentful in that case and stuff. Um excuse me. And especially if both of you are, like, say for example, in chairs, and, like, that's me. I would like to you know marry someone and be with someone with a similar condition to me. But obviously, like disability is diverse, and it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, but you get what I mean. What are you gonna do? Just live in a dirty house, just not clean? Um, and you could say, oh well, I mean, aides, and you can hire aides and stuff like that, or nurses, right? And it's like, yeah, but the trade off for that is that we stay desperately poor because of the way the welfare system is set up. I've already talked about that in a ton of videos. And how, of course, most of us are grateful for that help. Of course we are. It's not against the actual policy, it's against the implementation of it. But yeah, so that's expensive. And so, like, what is to be done? Because another thing too is that not even disabled people complain about stuff like that. I've heard a lot from my female friends that one of the biggest points of contention in most of their relationships is that men don't want to do any sort of housework. um even while they work, whereas women while they're working also are expected to just, you know, do it cuz they're women, which of course is not right. Now, what I will say, and I do think that women kind of leave this out. I think it's important context. Um let's be real. Men tend to do a lot more physically demanding jobs, and I can kind of understand why, you know, if you are a construction worker or do some sort of like heavy industry type thing that's just so taxing, you wouldn't want to come home and then do housework and stuff like that. But either way, man, like, what are you guys gonna do? Just live in a dirty house? And like, I still don't think it's fair that it disproportionately falls to the woman just because of gender roles, right? And um that's where, you know, my sort of ambivalent relationship towards AI, automation, and stuff rears its ugly head again. Because I genuinely think that uh this is one of those ways in which, you know, automation and AI could actually really do some good for everyone, not just disabled people, but especially disabled people and disabled couples. Um, because like it would just completely solve it. I know currently that there are little, like, you know, Roombas and stuff like that, the little cleaning robots. I mean, obviously I know, um you know, not every brand is a Roomba, but it's just the concept of that. I have one in my house, bro, and like we've had it for 4 years, and it's pretty good. I have to be honest, it's pretty good, but it's still kind of like it runs into things, it gets stuck places, it's kind of like a blind person feeling their way around, almost. That's what it reminds me of. And, you know, I really like it, but I just imagine that, like, on substances, basically. Imagine, like, if it, like, actually mapped your entire house and not only, swept, but also, you know, mopped and did everything else, and he could just automatically do that. That would be amazing, man. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And you know, while I understand a lot of the trepidation towards AI and like concern about it, um at the same time I think people usually miss the way in which it makes things really accessible for the disabled, and the type of era it could usher in for us and our relationships, because it seems like something so simple, but it it really does matter. It's not something we really talk about. It's something we prefer, you know, that stuff is private. But like, you know, disabled people have always found ways to do what they've wanted to do, and they've always found solutions. There's actually, speaking of that, a really great book called What Can a Body Do by the engineering professor Sarah Hendren, where she basically went all around the world to see how people um construct their own forms of accessibility in their own environments. And one of them actually included a man who, like, had very limited use of his legs and arms, but that man still found a way to be able to change the diaper of his child, guys. And that type of stuff for me personally is life fuel. Like, after I read that book, I started to actually have hope that one day I could take care of a child, because I have to be honest with you guys, like, I would love to be a stay-at-home dad. Like, make more money than me, baby. That's hot. Nah, but yeah, guys, it's just, AI, especially on the left. I don't think there's much critical thought put into, well, its criticism, and I think that should change. And disability and housework is a perfect example of why it's a more complicated question. But at the same time, I think all we can all agree that we should all be Garfield maxing more than we currently are. Alright, see you guys. Bye.